Previously on Nūntiātōrium. Look at me, I'm a little perler bead Guybrush, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Ah ha ha. Ah ha 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 ha. And now? Aww. Austaricolai scorbutiki. Ahoy there, scurvy lubbers, and welcome to part 6 of my update video about the progress I'm making in my Secret of Monkey Island Latin fan translation. I'm going through line by line and explaining kind of the choices I've made. I'm doing this in lieu of being able to show off the gameplay footage right now because I've decided to just go through the script in the order that it's presented, and it's like jumps around all over the place. So, not enough of the game is translated to have like a coherent linear chunk shown off. So I'm going through line by line here. I think it's crazy that I initially thought I could do this all in one video because I translated quite a bit, but I wanted to, I'm making this series of videos so that people can, see what I've done so far. Anyone who is interested in the project. All right. So we have made our way to the to all the memos. So all the memos that you pick up around Monkey Island, written by the Cannibals, LeChuck, and by Herman Toothrod, are all scattered throughout the island, and you can pick them up, and they all have these, angrily worded, messages for each other. Okay, so let's. I think, I don't know if this is always the case, the first memo you find, but yeah, so it says, it's printed on letterhead, in the English. And so once again, this is a situation where, okay, in Latin, do I try to, find some, circumlocution for describing, the concept of personalized stationery with something printed at the top, or do I try to think of a Roman equivalent? And it occurred to me, I guess the Roman equivalent of letterhead, right? Like, if it's officially printed stationery to show that, it came from this company or whatever, the Roman equivalent would be their use of the signet rings to impress their sigil onto the wax when sealing something. So that would be the nearest equivalent to like official letterhead. So in Latin, I wrote signum scriptoris impressunt in carta. So the sign of the writer has been impressed on the paper. And then getting into the memos themselves, in the Latin, I tried to format these the way that ancient Roman letters were formatted. So the first memo in English here, to the Monkey Island Cannibals, please stop moving this. It's delicately balanced. Herman Toothrod. And so this is in reference to the work of art that you used to launch the rocks off of. And it's apparently made by Herman. And yeah, he's telling them not to fiddle with it. And so the structure of a Roman letter is a little bit different. Rather than having the addressee at the top and then signing, the name of the writer at the bottom, typically the structure of a Roman letter is at the top of the letter you'd have the name of the writer in the nominative, and you'd have the addressee in the dative, and then you'd have some sort of formulaic phrase that was often abbreviated. But usually some form of salutam dicit. So says good health, or like says hello. And then SPD, salutum plurimo dicit, says very good health, like wishes very good health to you. There's SPQD, salutum plurimo, SQPD, salutum quum plurimum dicit, wishes, as much health as possible, which is very, very much hello, very, very, very kind greetings, or however you want to think of what that means. So you'd have the writer and the addressee both expressed in the first line with one of these formulaic phrases, which means then that the last line of the letter, since I wouldn't write the person's name there, I had to come up with various valedictions for the ends. Valediction, wale, wale dicere, right? Literally, to say goodbye. And oftentimes Roman letters were just ended with just wale, but there were various phrases that could appear at the bottoms of letters too. So anyway, that's the way I restructured these, and I made the salutations and in the valedictions all caps, with swapping out U's for V's and stuff, like the way Romans actually wrote. I did that for those just to kind of really highlight the beginnings and ends of the letters when you're reading them out loud, and then also, I don't know, the whatever edition of Cicero's letters that's featured on the LatinLibrary.com, it does this for all the headings of Cicero's letters too. They write them in all caps. So that's what I went with. Obviously, the entire letter would be written that way if you found an actual like Roman tablet being delivered as a letter. The entire thing would be written all caps, no spaces, no punctuation, because they didn't have that yet. But yeah. So this first letter, so I translated Albinius tuthrat SPD anthropophages qui Monkey Island inculunt. So Herman Toothrat says very much hello, sends his well wishes to the cannibals who inhabit Monkey Island. Nūntiātōrium quaeso hoc muere. Please don't move this again. This quod in iacurate libratons. Please don't move this again. This which indeed has been carefully, precisely balanced. And then the valediction for this one, I just went with a simple velete, goodbye, farewell, be healthy. And so that's the first memo. And then our second memo here in the English, the cannibals respond, Mr. Toothrat, please remove this dangerous object. And there's two versions of the next line that can appear depending on the whether or not you've sunk your ship. But Lemonhead, name of one of the cannibals, Lemonhead knocked a rock onto it from the cliff above and nearly injured someone who was putting up a swing on the banana tree on the South Beach. So that was one version of the line. Or Lemonhead knocked a rock onto it from the cliff above and nearly sank a passing ship is the next line. And I think that, it turns into that second line if you have sunk your ship, to make it another joke about how, maybe this happens all the time. People are accidentally sinking ships out there. And then, of course, then they sign off, the cannibals. Okay, so then in Latin here, Anthropophagy arminio tuthrat sal. So sal can be another abbreviation for salute. And then so the cannibals say hello to Herman Toothrat, to Arminius Toothrat. Remove sodes hankrem periculoson. Remove, please. Another way of saying please. Quaiso is like I beg, I ask. Sodes, literally, it's a contraction of siaudes, so it's like literally it's like if you dare, but it's not like challenging someone. It is another way of saying please. Remove, please, this dangerous thing. And then here's the first version of the line. Inquon saxon a citrocepalo caso de troson de scopul win super incidit, quade causa nihil proprios factons, quaut hominin litere meridianosculum sub ramo palae suspendenti noceretur. And that is so far, I think, the longest line in my translation so far, and hopefully it's not too long. I know if you make a line too long, it causes a glitch when it's playing in the game, and I haven't had a chance to test this line yet. But hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, so remove, please, this dangerous thing, onto which a rock, having been bumped down by accident by Lemonhead, which I translate his name is Kitrokepalos. So I'm using Greek roots for all the cannibals' names. So like in Neo-Latin it can refer to a lemon. Of course, it referred to a citron. It referred to a slightly different fruit in ancient times. So remove this dangerous thing, onto which a rock, having been pushed down by accident by Citrocephalus, fell from the cliff above, from which cause, as a result, nothing nearer happened than. This is how you describe, one of the ways you can describe something as having almost happened. You don't just use like paine or fere with a verb to say that something almost happened. You have to use one of these idiomatic phrases. Proprios, nihil proprios factumas, nothing nearer happened than, or there's also like haud multum habit queen, so there's not much away from that. That's another idiomatic expression to say something almost happened. But yeah. So it almost happened that a man on the South Beach, and to a man, it's in the dative because noceretur, nacerior, to be hurt. It takes the structure of it's an impersonal verb. And so you say, there was harm done to a person in the dative. So it almost happened that that harm was done to a man on the South Beach, hanging a swing from the branch of a banana tree. I explained, I think in the last video, osculum in like Neo-Latin can refer to something like, like a porch swing or like a playground swing. But literally it means little face, because in ancient times an osculum was it was a wind chime made up of little masks of Bacchus that you'd hang from a tree. So, but however you want to interpret that, it makes sense, right? He was hanging something from this tree, and then the rock nearly got him. And of course, this works as a good hint that this is what you're supposed to do. This tells you, oh, okay, so if you knock a rock down, it can send another rock flying all the way to that beach with the banana tree. So this is your hint that that's how you can knock the bananas down. But then, okay, then the other version of the line. So, ingun saxo, ma ketrokepulo caso de trosum, de scopulo win super incidit, quade causa nihil proprios factums, quaut navis praeteriens sumergeletur. So onto which a rock, accidentally pushed down by Lemonhead, fell from the cliff above, as a result of which it almost happened that that a passing ship was submerged, was sunk. So yeah, so that's the other version of the line there. And then the valediction I went with here is another very common one. Curaut valias. Take care that you are healthy. So, look after yourself, basically. Take care that you are healthy. Make sure you are well. Okay, and then the next memo here. To the ghost pirate LeChuck. We must ask you once again to curtail your nightly activities in the sacred monkey head area. Decent people are trying to sleep. Kindly keep the noise level down. The Monkey Island Cannibals. P.S. We saw you taking that woman with the scarf down there. Okay. So then in the Latin here. Anthropophagi qui Monkey Island inculunt salutant dicit piratae phantasmatico LeChuck iterum te rogamus ut nocturna facinora prope sacrum caput simiae recidas. So again we ask you that you cut back on your nocturnal deeds near the sacred monkey head. Num noctu dormire cunantur homines honesti. For at night, honest people, decent people, are trying to sleep. Humaniter igitur segeras, et minue quaesimus magnitudinem clamorum. Vale. I'll go over just that part first. So, therefore, you should behave yourself humanely, decently, in a civilized way, and diminish, lessen, we beg you, the magnitude of the noise. So, quiet down with all the noises. And then vale, goodbye. And then P.S. P.S. is of course short for postscriptum, which is a Latin phrase, but not one that the Romans themselves used when they were writing letters. They didn't add postscripts like that they labeled as postscriptum. But the verb postscribo exists in Latin. Just to write under something. So I decided I just turned this into a sentence that Gāius is remarking when he sees the P.S. So, aliquid postscriptumst. Something has been written below. And then, we saw you talking about that woman with the scarf down there. te quoque vidimus illum mulierum focale gerentum sub terram ducere. So we also saw you lead that woman wearing a scarf underground. And a focale was something like a scarf. Literally it comes from like fauce is like throat, so it's some garment worn around the throat. I think Lewis in short, I don't know. One of the dictionaries, made the point of like it's a garment that was seen as effeminate if a man wore it, but it wasn't explicitly said that it was a woman's garment either. But I don't know. It seems to be the nearest word to describe a scarf for what the Romans had. Some sort of something that was worn around the neck. And then so then the next letter, to the Monkey Island cannibals, I don't mind you worshipping in front of the sacred monkey idol, which doubles as my home and secret base of operations. But could you please refrain from leaving messy sacrifices on my porch? Also, please do not enter the monkey head. G.P. LeChuck. So then over here in the Latin, so instead of G.P. LeChuck, so to shorten Pirata Phantasmaticus LeChuck, I tried to abbreviate the way Roman names are often abbreviated, where the praenomen is often abbreviated with a single letter. And then if they were going to abbreviate the nomen, the family name, which I know this doesn't apply to LeChuck's name, but if they were gonna abbreviate their clan name, it would probably abbreviate to a syllable. And then the, I don't know if cognomen, if there's this, but of course LeChuck is indeclinable. I wanted to leave LeChuck anyway. I wasn't going to abbreviate that as anything, but Pe Pant, Pirata Phantasmaticus LeChuck, Anthropophagus, Sal plur dic. So here's another way they could abbreviate Salutam plurimum dico, or dicit, right? Because it's a third person sentence. Salutam plurimum dicit. So the Ghost Pirate LeChuck sends his well wishes to the cannibals. Non moleste ferro vos idolum sacricapitos simiae venerari, et eum si januast et meae domos et cultae sedis operandi. So I don't bear it bothersomely. This is an idiomatic expression to say, like, you don't mind something, you aren't annoyed by something. So I don't bear it in an annoying way. So I don't mind that you worship the idol of the sacred head of the monkey, even if it is the door to both my house and my hidden seat of operating. Vos autem rogo ne victimas simulatas in pronao relinquatis, quae post sacrificium mihi detergendae sint. However, I ask you not that you not leave behind the immolated victims the sacrificed victims, on the pronaos. So in Neo-Latin, pronaos can describe the porch of any building, but literally it describes the front part of a ancient Greek or Roman temple. But either way, since this monkey head is a sacred site, either meaning would make sense here. But yeah, so don't leave immolated victims on the pronaos, which, referring back to the victims, which after the sacrifice, I have to sweep away. So don't leave messes there that I have to clean up. Etion quaeso nolit entrare caput simiae. Also, I ask, do not enter the head of the monkey, please. And then here, so my valediction here, Divos ament. May the gods love you. So once again, I thought it was funny, right, to these formulaic salutations and valedictions are so pleasant, saying very kind things, but these characters all hate each other and they're writing these angry letters. So I thought that contrast too was really funny to use these pleasantries that are in total contrast to the body of the letter, and how upset they are. So I thought that was funny. Okay. So then our next letter. All right. To the ghost pirate LeChuck. We must protest your acquisition of our voodoo antiroot. We realize that it presents a hazard to you and your crew, but this is thievery. The Monkey Island Cannibals. Anthropopogi qui Monkey Island incolunt piratai phantasmatico LeChuck salutin. So sometimes you can just write salutin on its own. So the cannibals who inhabit Monkey Island say hello to the ghost pirate LeChuck. Nos contra tuum custodium nostrae antairidzes vodonensis dicimus. So we must speak, or we are speaking against your custody, your watching over our voodoo antiroot. So I turned this into make it look like it's the species name. And so I used for the genus, I used Greek roots to make it say anti-root, and then the species name was used Wodonensis, which was this adjective meaning voodoo. I think the only place it's found is on the Wikipedia article about Vodun, Wodun, the traditional West African religion that became the voodoo in the Caribbean and in like Louisiana and the United States and stuff. The Latin Wikipedia article about the religious tradition used this adjective wodonensis to describe things related to voodoo. So that's where I got that from. But yeah, we must speak out against your guarding our voodoo antiroot. Quam radicam quidum scimus periculo te nautasque tuas offere, sed hoc est apertum furtum. So which root indeed we know puts you and your sailors in danger, literally offers you and your sailors to danger, is the idiomatic expression there. But this is open theft. And then here's an attested valediction that takes on a more sinister tone the way it's used here. Facut tepsum custodias. See to it that you watch yourself. So, you can imagine this in a nicer tone. See to it that you, look after yourself, that you keep yourself safe. And this is attested as a way of ending a letter. But since this is in the context of their being angry about his guarding the route, like here it turns into a passive aggressive, like angry kind of valediction. Make sure that you guard yourself. That's what you should be, So it turns the friendly valediction into a threat, and so I like the way that worked out. And then Herman, please return our key to the monkey head, the cannibals. So very, very short and sweet there. So anthropopoki yarminio. So, and of course, letters could be like this too. You could just be, nominative, dative, just short and sweet. The writer and the addressee. So the cannibals to Herman. Rede sodes claum nostram ad caput simiae reserandum. Bene valeas. So return, please, our key for unlocking the monkey head. Be well, farewell. Have good health. Be healthy. Well, wale, waleas on its own, not qualified with like male or whatever. Just means to be in good health. But then bene, makes it, makes it very clear you're telling someone to be well. And this is, of course, an attested phrase too. So, bene valeas. And then Herman replies, cannibals, I'm not giving you bloodsuckers your key to the monkey head until you return my banana picker. HT. So here I decided to just abbreviate Arminius. I just used the single letter for his first name. So Tuthrat anthropophages. So Arminius Tuthrat, to the cannibals. Vobis vestrum clavum quae caput simiae resurretur nam dabo o sanguis sugae. Priusquum mihi me instrumentvad alienas carpendas redideritis. So I will not give to you your key, which unlocks the monkey head. Oh, and this is literally bloodsuckers. Oh, bloodsuckers. But this is a word for leeches. But yeah, I thought this would work. Oh, bloodsuckers. Oh, leeches. Before you will have given to me my instrument for picking bananas. And then for the valediction, I went with, there's another tested one. Etiat question valete. So also and also goodbye, or like again and again. Etiat question can mean again, as if it were iter wat quiteron, again and again, goodbye. And then the final letter. This is the content of that legal letter you find in the bottle that was all the way at the top of the script when I started doing these videos. So now we get the letter that's in it. for some reason I decided not to stick to the convention of the capitalizing the salutation and the valediction for this one. I don't know. I felt it felt like a different kind of letter. It's not from these people. It's from this outside legal group. I don't know. I just formatted it differently. But yeah. So in the English, from Yammer, Hem, and Ha, attorneys at law, regarding it's not actually short. Re isn't short for regarding. It is just the re, like on the matter, on the thing of. But re-sued against Cannibal Tribe over malicious tossing of your oars into a chasm. I think we have a case here. We can probably soak them for emotional distress and probably punitive damages as well. So I tried to, and for this I tried to look up, I tried to use the kind of esoteric Latin legal terminology to translate all this. So, but okay. So Yammer, from Yammer, Hem, and Ha, attorneys at law. So I decided to translate their names as Gāius loquax blateroque juris consulti. So Gāius loquax blatero. So these are all different ways of saying like talkative. So loquax is maybe the most basic way of saying talkative. Gāius, someone who, a gossip, someone talks too much, and then a blatero is just like a blabbering idiot, and then jurisconsulti, legal experts. There are different titles for. I still don't fully understand the Roman law system and how lawyers worked or whatever. There were like legal experts you could hire to speak on your behalf at a trial, and they had different titles depending on different contexts. But yeah, juris consulti is like someone you would talk to about legal matters, an expert in the law. It's not necessarily the title this person would have when they're representing you in the courtroom, but since this is a letter written to Herman, saying, "Oh, we're considering pursuing a case, or a case would work." I think maybe this is the best word to use. And I split the greeting here across two lines. Because it is here, yeah. To Herman, to Throat, from Yammer, Hem, and Ha. So that's why it's in two lines. Although I reversed the order, because it starts out with the nominative saying who's sending the letters, and then on the second line I made the dative for the recipient. So Arminio tu Throat, salutum cum plurimum dicunt. And this time I just decided to write out the whole phrase. So Gāius, Loquax, and Blatero, legal experts, send the very best wishes possible to Arminius Teuthrat. And then in re litis inferendain anthropopegorum tribum qui remus tuos in hiatum malevoluanimo deiecerunt. So on the matter of the case to be brought against the tribe of cannibals, who with malevolent intent, with malicious intent, threw down your oars into the chasm. On that matter, putamus forut causa nobis adjudicator. We believe it will be that the case is adjudicated for us, meaning we believe we will win the case. It'll be judged in our favor. Senioriarum mentis intendamus actione proquibus poena damniac solacium consequamur. So we believe it will be judged in our favor if we put out an action of injury of the mind for which we pursue poenum damni. This would be like some kind of criminal punishment. So like punitive actions, punishment of damages, and solacium. This is the word where we get solace and stuff. But this is in the legal context. This would be a monetary restitution. So if we demand punishment of damages and money, money to be paid, if we pursue those things, and then that's the end of it. Yes, because I believe we have a case here if this is what we do, if we file these things. And so I was, of course, digging through legal terminology to try to find emotional distress and punitive damages. I don't know. I was trying to find because Guybrush has the whole line earlier. I don't think I can translate the rest. It's written in legal jargon. So I wanted to try to use as much as I could, some legal jargon here. And hopefully using it correctly. But even if I'm not, it still works to the joke about, the specialized language being a little bit inscrutable. Okay, so that's that memo. And then I think we have, all the way over here. Then we have the names of the memos in your inventory, which, keep progressively describing this growing pile of memos in your inventory. So memos, a few memos, several memos, a bunch of memos, a pile of memos, a whole lot of memos, too many memos. Of course, Flint, noteworthy. This is just going back to that memo you can pick up earlier. Okay, so just memos, kodikilos, a few memos, nullos kodikilos, so a few memos, several memos, not no memos, and then cumplores kodikilos, so quite a few memos, plurimos kodikilos, so very many memos, struum kodikilorum, so a heap of memos, magnum copium kodikilorum, so a big abundance of memos, nimis kodikilorum, so too much of memos, and then the flint silicon, noteworthy rock. And this pun is difficult. It doesn't quite work, as well in Latin, because nota, at least in classical Latin, isn't what you call a small letter or whatever, right? This is the flint was weighing down one of the memos, and so it's a noteworthy rock if you don't know it's flint yet, right? And so, but I just lapidum notandum, a rock to be noticed. In Neo-Latin context, nota can refer to this kind of note. So maybe the pun still sort of works. I don't know. But that's hard. But puns between languages are hard. But to any modern day speaker of a modern language playing this, the pun will still work because they'll probably still make that connection because of the meaning of nota as descendant in other languages. But yeah, it should still work. And then I think so. That's it for the notes then, which that didn't take very long. I made this entire ridiculous bulletin board setup for this video just to talk about the notes, and then here we are done with the notes already, but I guess I'll stop the video here. Kurato tvaliatis.